In a world where dreams can be as vivid as reality, our protagonist, Pump, found himself in the clutches of an animation channel's dark deceit. What began as a journey of creativity and passion turned into a nightmare of betrayal. The channel, a wolf in sheep's clothing, preyed on his talent, robbing him of more than just his time and effort, but his whole future. This tale isn't just a story, it's a deep dive into the depths of treachery that lurked behind the promise of collaboration. Gear up for a ride through the twists and turns of a creator's battle against the shadows of betrayal and the quest for redemption.
Hey guys, my name's Pump and I'm from Africa. This is the character I'm going to be using for most of the videos, so please like and subscribe. Marshmallow-like leaves were dancing as they filled my empty garden. It was the third year of my most dreamed life. When I looked back in the evening though, I thought maybe it was all just a dream. Dream like memories poured in, and I couldn't help but reflect on the time when Dad bought me an iPad.
Our little boy is so curious and imaginative. He's always making up stories and every other thing he sees and hears. Isn't that cute, honey?
I believed I had a thing for stories and used to watch their animated videos all the time. I came across a YouTube channel called Animated Story Magic one evening as I was enraging my father once more. Give me my food! After watching a few videos, I became so obsessed with their stories and even found myself watching them non-stop after school. Mom and Dad had lived very difficult lives from the time I was born and given up their ambitions so that I could chase my dreams. It was my 16th birthday, and as I said farewell to my classmates on South Keys Lane, I hurried in the hopes of a giant white cake, decorated with so many candles that it resembled a little cathedral. But as I unlocked the door and crept into the drawing room, I was surprised to see a tiny cake. A small drop of tear flowed down my left cheek, but Mom caressed me, saying,
Your dad and I bought a gift for you. That's why we couldn't get a much bigger cake this year. It's in your room, honey. Go, hurry.
I walked half dead thinking that it would be something mundane, like always. To my surprise, I pushed open the door to see a brand new iPad lying on the bed. What? In disbelief, as if it wasn't real, I turned it on and checked again and again and again. What? I cried so loudly the heavens noticed. Oh my gosh! I love you, Mom! I love you, Dad! I love you guys so much! That night I couldn't sleep as my mind raced through so many stories. I could fulfill my lifelong dream. I could watch and read the stories all night and learn until no one could outdo me in story writing. At midnight, I opened my window and looked at the glistening city. Somewhere, either in this building or that must be the person or persons behind the great ASM. You heard me, Animated Story Magic. I am going to be a part of you guys one day. Days moved at a snail's pace, and eventually the fears of my parents faded. Instead of wasting my time on the new gadget, as they feared, I was turning out to be more productive. My thirst now quenched, the days were now calm. It was the season of happiness in our family. Hey y'all, quick notice. If you're enjoying this video so far, please smash the like button and subscribe for more content like this. As another year went by, I graduated from high school with flying colors, but this time, however, times changed. Mom's illness prevented her from making ends meet, and our family's income was cut in half. It wasn't without hope, though. I dreamt about the exciting days of college that were ahead of me. But eventually, more tragedy fell. Dad's business started crashing because customers were losing interest in his products. With no diploma in his hands, he was terrified. I was soon seen skipping dinners and going to drink in the middle of the night. Poor Dad could no longer bear the burden. Mom, don't worry, I promised my mother as I stood next to her in the hospital. I'll take care of us. I won't let you down. But deep inside, I was heartbroken. Because now, it was impossible for me to go to college. Eventually started working to save up for the coming fall semester, and because my days were now committed to serving others, my nights were often dull and boring.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
However, I'd still dream about those remarkable things my brilliant mind created at night. After another 2 months, my nights were dedicated to my study table and my study table only. One evening, I tallied up all the money I'd managed to save despite the household's massive expenses, and it still wasn't enough. My head clenched in my hands. Life presented a gloomy picture to me. A voice spoke to me as I laid on the floor.
It is time, my son.
I had enough writing on hand that I could start working with animated story magic. The following 2 days were exhausting as I went over each script, polishing and perfecting it. I only sent an email when I was certain. I went on and on about my creative writing path and how many stories I'd written. As soon as they got it, they were impressed, ASM's president stated.
To be honest, nobody in a long time has come up with such interesting ideas. It is unquestionably a success.
The team was open to my demands, though. They seemed to agree on my pay for the script, but never wanted to give me the acknowledgement I deserved.
The fact that this guy wants us to acknowledge him and include his name in our videos is somewhat bold.
The team leader thought such things didn't matter and instructed the team to start getting my stories in and animating them.
But the dude wants to be a part of us.
Be patient. Let's just see how these stories perform. And if they are a huge success, then we would take him into consideration about joining the team.
When I saw the reply, it was more than I could have ever imagined. For a while, life appeared to be perfect. I began to cry. I then raced to my mom to tell her what had just happened. Her slim, dazzling face gleamed all day as she smiled. I then started sending them each of my stories via email. The next day, ASM informed me that it would take several days to completely animate the stories. Finally, it was agreed that I would get paid once my stories had received a certain number of views. The plan was perfect. The mornings in the restaurant were now more enjoyable, and my manager was pleased with me as well because I was glowing so friendly and cheerful with the customers. Inside, I was hopeful and certain that my stories would rock the stage and I would get all I ever wanted. Besides, the initial appreciation from ASM proved that my stories were worthy. Now I started putting more effort into my initial drafts and started sending them some pieces every day. At ASM, the team was on the moon with excitement. Recently, their channel views seemed to be dropping gradually, but with my stories, a new life was put into it. When he saw the one of my stories had gotten over 10 million views in only 3 days, ASM's president was completely baffled. He believed that since this was a massive accomplishment, it was necessary to celebrate. I provided them with enough work to keep their channel growing for 3 months.
Ladies and gentlemen, get it now before they sell out, and come join the trend.
On the other side of the city, I was exhausted, and now wanted some kind of reward. I had sent over 30 stories and requested for payment, but days just passed without a response. I saw my videos reaching great heights, and I was still without a reply from Animated Story Magic. To combat that, I emailed them twice every day, demanding my money in hopes they would get back to me, but still, nothing. A week later, I had a shocking revelation. As I was watching movies in the living room, I grabbed my phone and went straight to the list of ASM's latest videos, and to my surprise, no one ever credited me for any of my stories. What? I refused to acknowledge what ASM had done. My heart sunk with each passing minute. After waiting 3 months for their response, they ended up letting me know that they wouldn't pay until I submitted 20 more stories, bringing my total to 50. This news left me devastated. Despite my attempts to write more stories, I failed. I felt like I had been deceived. Please, ASM, my mom recently fell sick and I have nothing to support her with the medical bills. I need something. Please. I pleaded with ASM to give me my payment, but they didn't budge. Eventually, I gave up. I broke down internally and couldn't write a single word. Maybe the world is like this, I thought, jumping off a bridge, but I knew that would devastate family. Curse you, Animated Story Magic! May you rot in hell! I shouted through my window as my tears reached my chin. My heart was stories, but it seemed that it was not in fate. I started another job in the evening and delivered food via Uber. From time to time, those thoughts would cross my mind. What if I can't get admission this year as well? What if Mom falls sick again? How am I gonna fend for her? How am I gonna take care of family? Who's gonna pay my bills?
Oh my god, bro.
I couldn't control my emotions and stayed up all night crying and wishing I'd never sent my precious stories to ASM. On the other hand, times were also changing for animated story magic. Once people had developed a taste for unique content, there's no going back from it. Now that I was no longer available, they tried to contact a couple of writers and paid huge amounts for boring stories. However, what's ironic is that despite the team's efforts and the availability of several great stories, ASM's viewership still plummeted from 300 million monthly views to a meager 60 million in less than a week. Things then took a turn for the worse when they decided to throw some hate on Faye's reaction channel, Fub Schemes. What was his crime, you ask? He was simply just expressing his thoughts on the videos ASM made. The result was catastrophic, though, as their loyal fanbase began to vanish into thin air, leaving behind a raging trail of mean comments in Faye's defense. Another week goes by and ASM was on the verge of going broke. No video could receive more than 500,000 views, and finding money to pay the animators and scriptwriters appeared to be impossible. The next day, the manager discovered that they had neglected to publish one of the stories I had put out while working for them, so he gave it a go in the hopes of a miracle, but nothing happened. I called the team meeting the following week, and I couldn't figure out where they'd gone wrong until the quiet member Alex spoke out.
It's because we exploited him and damaged his career. Now the karma's getting us back. We've broken the most important rule here!
What are you talking about?
Sir, I think he's got a point though.
But even though he's got a point, what do we do now then?
You're aware of it, sir. We keep our word!
Alex's statements made little sense to Nina or the management.
How is it possible that he has destroyed our channel? Did he hack it?
No, they weren't certain. In the end, Nina suggested that they advertise their channel as other channels were gaining visibility through ads. The manager agreed right away and gave her permission to buy the services, without spending the channel's money in the expectation that it would revive it. The manager checked the videos a month later. It appeared that they had dropped below the previous views that they were struggling to keep. He got frustrated and scheduled another meeting. But this time, he wanted to hear Alex rather than Nina.
Now that the people are clearly interested in Pump's stories, I'm hoping he'll be able to steer us through these dangerous waters. Because at this rate, if we don't do something about the mess we're in, we're gonna end up losing our jobs and the channel as a whole. And tell me, how are we gonna feed our families, our kids, and our loved ones? Tell me!
After several hours of debate and objections from the team, the manager concluded that there was no choice but to give Alex's advice a try. Next day, he emailed me the money I was owed as well as a lengthy apology and an invitation to join their team. Initially, I had doubts and concerns about joining ASM again because of the fear that things might go wrong again. However, after sharing my thoughts and fears with Mom, she advised me to join. Despite my worries, I sent an email expressing my interest to become a part of their team. 2 days later, I was accepted and given the role of story writer. At first, only Alex was kind towards me, but as stories came in, their opinions changed. With my stories came the ultimate boom in views, and everybody started seeing my crucial importance to their channel. I was accepted wholeheartely.
Do you have a family? The people you love, the people you trust? Do you have a family? Family, people you can trust. They bring the best out of you but still make you feel the worst. Personally speaking, I feel like mine is cursed. I'm just trying to be myself and not follow the herd. And nigga, that's the word. Got it from the Bible.